Tonight on CTV News at 6. Destructive behavior.
People are making campfires in this laneway.
A city councillor in Timmins wants this area closed. Showcasing their products.
One of the biggest things is the potential for finding distribution networks.
The federal government is helping northern agri-food businesses. And Blue Jays fever.
The theater world and the sports world will be meeting tonight. So as people are here enjoying the Yellow Brick Road and the Wicked-themed food and drinks and music, we're also going to have the Jays on.
A whole nation is cheering on Toronto as the Jays get set for Game 1 of the World Series.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you are with us on this Friday. For the first time in more than 3 decades, the Toronto Blue Jays are in the World Series. Game 1 is tonight, and many people are changing their plans just to watch the game. CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
Ashley Malley and Jason Ostapic have been planning their wedding, but what they didn't expect was that their favorite team would make it to the final round of playoffs during their ceremony.
Well, obviously the day is super exciting to begin with, so anything that adds to that excitement, we more than welcome it. So
go Jays!
Yeah, go Jays!
The couple is now planning on bringing the Jays into the wedding.
I mean, we did not anticipate that when we scheduled our day, but it's very interesting. It's fun. Initially, they were scheduled for 1 p.m. to start, so we were talking with our officiant on how to get updates on the Jays game while we're getting married.
But the happy couple isn't the only ones accommodating the big game. The Sioux Greyhounds and the Sudbury Wolves are changing their game times from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. to allow fans to support both their favorite teams back to back.
If you show your ticket, you're entered to win a pair of tickets to the World Series tomorrow. So all you have to do is have your ticket, of course, visit guest services, they'll give you a ballot.
The Arts are also showing support for the Canadian team. Yes Theatre's Wicked Gala will be hoping the Jays hitters defy gravity tonight.
So the theater world and the sports world will be meeting tonight. So as people are here enjoying the Yellow Brick Road and the Wicked-themed food and drinks and music, we're also going to have the Jays on in a couple different spaces throughout the theater.
Regardless of the months-long planning, many people are adjusting and adding the Toronto Blue Jays into their plans. And for the die-hard fans, Strictly Nostalgia has the seats to take your home screening to the next level. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
And we'll have more on the Blue Jays World Series appearance later in our show. A North Bay man is facing criminal charges after he fled from police. Around 2 p.m. Wednesday, OPP tried to pull over a vehicle on Highway 17. The driver didn't stop, striking a stationary cruiser as he fled. Later, a report came in about a dangerous driver in a parking lot off Highway 11. Police found the vehicle on Tomiko Lake Road. A search led police to drugs, weapons, and cash. The 38-year-old faces 17 weapons trafficking and dangerous driving charges. A Brampton man was back in a North Bay court today. He's going to be sentenced for striking a North Bay police officer with a stolen vehicle last spring. Sahibjot Singh pled guilty in August to assault of a peace officer, impaired driving, and flight from police. Singh had previously admitted to being under the influence of illicit drugs when he stole a vehicle and used it to hit a police sergeant, pinning him between the SUV and another vehicle. The Crown is pushing for a 5-year sentence, less time served, while Singh's lawyer is arguing he should receive an enhanced credit for time served and be sentenced to only time served. Singh is in Canada on a student visa from India and was studying at Canadore College. Singh cannot get into the immigration system until his charges are dealt with, and while serving a sentence, he cannot be deported. The man will be sentenced November 6th. A Timmins city councillor is garnering support for the closure of a downtown laneway. Corey Robbins says recent behaviors in the laneway are causing grave concern and urges everyone to make their voices heard. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
So that means that this winter... Councillor Corey Robbins says it's time to close up this laneway in the downtown. This stretch runs east and west between Pine Street South and Spruce Street South, parallel to 3rd Avenue. While he says police and outreach workers are doing their best to check up on this area, he says some people are causing problems.
What's left is a small group of people that are causing mischief and setting fires and harassing people that are coming through, and just general things that weren't occurring earlier this year. People are making campfires in this laneway. We've discovered that over the last few weeks, as well as there was a fire in the building behind me where they set a fire right behind the back door and burned a portion of the building.
Robin says he's asked the city if the laneway can be closed, and he says he's been told yes, it can, but council would have to vote on it. The city's community programs manager told CTV News it would be inappropriate to comment on the proposal before the matter is discussed by council.
In order for it to be closed, the council has to pass a resolution.
And Robin says community involvement is key to ensure the initiative is a success and welcomes all letters of support.
I've decided to take it on myself and put the work in and put the time in and reach out to the community for support, which I'm getting, to close it.
Robin says he'll deliver a presentation at the November 11th meeting. If the resolution is passed, Robin says it's unlikely barriers would go up before spring. And if this area is closed off, Robin says it's an opportunity to explore options for enhancing the space. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
The District of Nipissing Social Services Board is preparing for winter and is launching its enhanced cold weather response. At Northern Pines Transitional Housing Complex, expansion and retrofitting of existing portables is underway to provide 24/7 shelter for 21 homeless people. Although the low barrier shelter project was scheduled to be completed by next Friday, the opening is now set after November 1st. Once complete, the total bed count will increase to 81 compared to 70 last season. Hours will be temporarily expanded from November 1st until March 31st. The Crisis Center North Bay continues to look to extend shelter amenities such as showers during colder months. And there is cooler weather out there right now. It's time for our first check on weather. Here's CTV's Lindsay Alick filling in for Rick Wyman.
Certainly feeling like fall across northeastern Ontario, Tony. We will be seeing those cooler temperatures over the next couple of days, especially tomorrow morning. Many communities waking up with a wind chill value around -3 to -5. But what about that sunshine? We are going to be seeing sunny skies for the most part across northeastern Ontario for much of the next 7 days. And I'll have more of those details coming up in just a bit. But for now, I'll send it back over to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. The earth shook again in Sudbury today. Still to come on CTV News at 6. How big was the rumble? Right now, though, we're heading to the municipality of Wawa. This is a shot from the mouth of the Mishpecotton River. It's courtesy of the municipality. Right now, it's 6 degrees. We will be back after this commercial break.
Pure Country 91.7 wants to send you to Sandals South Coast in Jamaica. We're giving away an all-inclusive Caribbean vacation for 2 every weekday. Listen for your chance to win. Pure Country Passport with Sandals Resorts. Get closer to the Caribbean.
Just days after a mining-related rock burst at Creighton Mine in Sudbury was felt across much of the city, a bigger one shook the area again this morning. According to Earthquakes Canada, the 3.5 magnitude seismic event hit the area at 11:20 a.m. in the area of Creighton Mine. That compares to the 2.9 magnitude quake that was felt on October 19th. Valley officials say Creighton Mine experienced a seismic event measuring 3.97 in magnitude. All employees are safe and accounted for, and all established protocols were followed. Members of the public with questions are encouraged to contact Valley's Community Concerns line. According to social media, residents from Walden to New Sudbury to the South End to the Valley and elsewhere felt the quake. Residents are encouraged to submit a "Did you feel it?" report on the Earthquakes Canada website.
Oftentimes the distribution of these felt reports will depend on the geology on which people are situated. So if you have sediments, you often have higher amplification and of seismic energy in those regions, which causes people to report a higher level of shaking. And then within 100 meters or so, you may have someone on bedrock where the shaking may be much less. And so you may have quite a difference in these felt reports. And this all ties into our seismic hazard models, which we use to inform the building code.
Officials say this is the second largest event in recent history, with the largest being a magnitude of 4.1 that occurred in 2006. The federal government is helping companies showcase their products at the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair next month in Toronto. CTV's Alan Everson has details.
The federal government announcing it's investing over $780,000 to help 47 agri-food businesses be exhibitors at the Northern Ontario Agri-Food Pavilion at the Royal from November 7th to 16th.
In Northern Ontario, agriculture is important. Direct and indirect jobs equal about 6,000 people that are involved. And every year we keep on adding agricultural land here in the north with new crops as the climate extends and longer growing hours.
FedNor has been funding the pavilion for over 22 years, and it's grown to over 7,000 square feet.
And I think the biggest number for me is over the past 10 years, the businesses that have attended have sales in excess of $10 million. And I think that's a significant highlight because they wouldn't have access to those markets here in Northern Ontario.
Isabel Spence-Legault operates a horticultural farm in Cache Bay. She produces herbal teas and showcased her products in 2023 at the Northern Ontario Agri-Food Pavilion.
So there's a lot of camaraderie amongst the exhibitors. A potential for cross-collaboration starts happening after you're there for 10 days intensively sharing this experience. It really does provide some of those linkages that are important for long-term growth.
Spence-Legault says the opportunity opened new doors for her business.
One of the biggest things is the potential for finding distribution networks. When I was there, I was approached by a local grocer, or rather a national grocer, and they offered to have my products available in 12 of their stores. And that wouldn't have been an opportunity I would have had access to had I just stayed in Northern Ontario.
Officials with FedNor say the Royal Agriculture Winter Fair attracts close to 300,000 people to experience the country in the city. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sturgeon Falls.
The OPP Association has named a new president and vice president. Dave Dubé, who serves with the Kirkland Lake Detachment, has been named as the association's vice president. Dubé was the OPP Association president for Branch 12 North until elected as a provincial director. He says he is honored to be named to the position and is looking forward to the advocacy work that comes with the role. Trying to get seats to see the Jays-Dodgers matchup have been the hottest tickets in town. Now, they sold out earlier this week within 30 minutes. That didn't stop fans from trying to get a chance to see this historic matchup. But unfortunately, it led to some fans being scammed. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
And a swing and a fly ball to left field. As soon as the Toronto Blue Jays made it clear they were going to the World Series, hundreds of thousands of fans tried to purchase tickets. But when the series sold out in 30 minutes, tickets immediately ended up on reseller sites for a lot more money.
Reached out and said she had 2 tickets, played the story of I can't go all of a sudden. I fell for the story, just in the heat of the moment.
Chris Armstrong of Bowmanville says he bought tickets using Facebook 3 times this year with success, which is why he tried to get a pair for the Jays-Mariners matchup. But he ended up being scammed out of $220. He searched again for the Jays-Dodgers series, and he got a phone call from someone who said they had tickets for the first game.
Called me and said, listen, I got more tickets. I thought of you. Would you be interested in tickets for Game 1 of World Series?
Because Armstrong talked to the seller on the phone, he gave it another try, but this time was scammed out of $300.
After I sent the money, tried to call back the phone number that he provided, and found out the number's not in service anymore.
To avoid ticket scams, only buy from authorized sources, avoid social media sellers, beware prices that are too good to be true, and sellers who pressure you to act quickly, and don't make payments by e-transfer. So if you decided you wanted to go to the Jays-Dodgers game tonight and money was no object, how much could you expect to pay for a last-minute ticket? On StubHub, we found there were still plenty of seats available for the first game of the series. Tickets were selling in the $500 level for about $1,000 to $2,000 each. Of course, the closer to the action, the prices went up. There were also tickets for $4,000, $8,000, and almost $14,000 each. Armstrong says he's still hopeful he can see a game in the series despite being scammed twice.
It's unfortunate that people are doing this to other people.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
A powerful Pacific storm is lashing British Columbia's south coast, bringing strong winds and heavy rain. Parts of Vancouver Island have already seen wind gusts of over 130 kilometers per hour. Environment Canada is warning some areas could see localized flooding, poor driving conditions and power outages. The BC River Forecast Centre has issued high stream flow advisories, flood watches and flood warnings.
Expecting to see rivers rising rapidly in response to this heavy rain. That's going to go on through the day, or today overnight, and then through tomorrow. By the time we get into Saturday, things should have improved as we go into a bit of a drying trend.
BC Hydro says it has crews on standby, with its biggest concern being trees being brought down by those strong winds. All right, back now for a check on your current conditions. Here's Lindsay.
Thanks, Tony. It certainly feels like fall out there, especially as the sun begins to set even earlier. I'll take a step to the side here, and you can see all of the sunset times across the region, and we are certainly around that time. I don't know about you, but I certainly miss those 9 p.m. sunsets. Let's take a closer look at your current conditions right now. Sitting at 6 degrees in Moosonee, 3 degrees in Timmins, Cochrane, and Kapuskasing. Over to Sault Ste. Marie, sitting at 6 degrees, seeing a little bit of rainfall in both Wawa and Chapleau. Over down to Parry Sound, sitting at 8 degrees, still seeing a little bit of the sunshine. Sitting at 6 degrees in Timiskaming Shores, 4 in Kirkland Lake, and 5 degrees in North Bay. Heading over down to Manitoulin Island, seeing some rainfall at this hour, 8 degrees, 5 degrees in Elliott Lake, 7 in Espanola, and 7 in Greater Sudbury. That's a look at your current conditions. I'll have more weather details coming up in a bit with your 7-day forecast, but for now, we'll send it back over to Tony.
Thanks for that, Lindsay. The U.S. president saw it. Next on CTV News at 6, Premier Ford pulls the ad that references Ronald Reagan. And several Canadian sectors are facing immense pressure from U.S. tariffs. It was supposed to speak to Americans, an ad showing them the value of their neighbors to the north. Well, overnight, the $75 million ad campaign launched by Ontario caught the attention of one American in particular, Donald Trump, who says trade talks with Canada are over. CTV's Siobhan Morris has that story.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports.
The Premier revealed in a speech earlier this month the ad was his idea.
Let's take Ronald Reagan's words and let's blast it to the American people.
Words from a 1987 radio address about trade tensions at the time between the U.S. and Japan. Ontario's ad used the broader takeaway.
Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs.
By Tuesday,
I heard that the president heard our ad.
Then late on Thursday night, an online missive from Donald Trump terminating trade talks between the U.S. and Canada, alleging interference with upcoming court decisions on tariffs, calling the ad a fake. Ronald Reagan's foundation said the ad hadn't been cleared by them and the former president's position had been mischaracterized. Doug Ford had been heralding Reagan's message along the prime minister just yesterday.
Protectionism does not work.
Today, Mark Carney emphasizes there's been progress with U.S. trade officials on steel, aluminum, and energy.
We stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress when the Americans are ready.
Carney didn't answer questions about whether the ad should be pulled. While at 8 a.m., Ford was showing no signs of backing off. By 2:30, he issued a statement saying his goal was always to start a conversation, writing, "We've achieved our goal, having reached U.S. audiences at the highest level." The ads will run during the World Series with lots of eyes watching this weekend. But in speaking with Prime Minister Carney, Ontario will pause its U.S. advertising campaign effective Monday so that trade talks can resume. A big part of the criticism of the ad in Ontario has been of the $75 million price tag. The ad was supposed to be on the air until the end of January. With it being pulled early, there is some hope there will be flexibility with U.S. networks to bring the cost down. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
As the politics play out in public, the fate of several crucial industries hinges on getting those trade talks back online. From the auto sector to steel, aluminum, and lumber, all are facing immense pressure from U.S. tariffs. CTV's Rachel Aiello now on the reaction from those sectors.
Canadian industries impacted by the trade war are trying to roll with the latest punch from U.S. President Donald Trump.
It's a never-ending story of ups and downs, and this is one of the downs. So we're looking forward to the next way up.
The aluminum sector is among those hit the hardest. Trying to take this setback in stride, it says the longer tariffs last, the more impact will be felt south of the border.
Which will just keep growing the pressure on the administration to find a way out of this situation.
Similarly, the steel industry says it's waiting for further details to be made clear and will continue to work to find a path forward that works for the sector. Before Trump's termination, Canadian officials were working towards securing sectoral deals. Today, the industry minister says the American administration's unpredictability comes as no surprise.
The question is not how I react, but what do we do? And my answer to that is head down. We need to concentrate on what we can control.
But the auto sector says any delay in getting a deal could be dire.
We can't wait until July 2026 for a new USMCA. We can't wait until tomorrow for a new USMCA. The dominoes are now falling.
With the Prime Minister saying Canada stands ready to resume negotiations, business leaders say a Team Canada approach is needed to find a path back to the bargaining table.
And we need to make sure that everyone is aligned with what's taking place, recognizing that some may get some relief before others do.
This is not the first time Trump has abruptly ended negotiations with Canada in a social media post. In June, he called off trade talks effective immediately, citing the digital services tax. Later that month, Carney scrapped it, and talks resumed. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
While Trump is shutting Canada out, there is growing speculation that U.S. President could try to overthrow Venezuela's dictator Nicolas Maduro. Over the past week, U.S. supersonic heavy bombers have flown along the coast of Venezuela, and the U.S. military has built up an unusually large force in the Caribbean. Since early September, American forces have carried out lethal strikes on boats in the waters off Venezuela that Trump claims are trafficking drugs. The president is basically saying drug cartels should be treated like terrorist organizations. While politics may be divisive today, the sports world is coming together. Toronto's top professional sports teams are cheering on the Blue Jays. Despite the Toronto Raptors hosting their home opener tonight, they changed their social media logo to a photo of their iconic team dinosaur decked out in Blue Jays gear. Meanwhile, the Toronto Maple Leafs changed their profile picture to one of their team logos with the words, "Let's go Blue Jays," adding Toronto wants it all. And to football, the Toronto Argonauts joined in with a special Blue Jays version of their own logo, adding "Want it all. We're with you, Blue Jays." And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Lindsay.
Well, certainly it's a great evening to be inside watching all of these games, Tony. It's going to be a chilly evening across northeastern Ontario. Lots of cloud cover, could see a little bit of unsettled conditions in terms of some rainfall mixed with some snow. The good news is it looks like there's going to be no accumulation on the ground, so it's not like you're going to wake up to a bunch of snow on the ground, especially in those most northern communities. Taking a look outside right now, as you can see, we've got a little bit of that snow falling around Kapuskasing and Timmins, a little bit of rainfall around Moosonee, and some other communities could see some scattered showers as well throughout the evening. We're going to start to see most of that cloud cover move throughout the region by Saturday afternoon, but certainly even more as we head into Sunday, seeing lots of sunshine. But overnight tonight, it's certainly going to be chilly, sitting at 1 degree overnight in Sudbury, 2 in Sault Ste. Marie, right at that freezing mark in Timmins, 1 degree in both Temiskaming Shores and North Bay. Heading over to Moosonee now, could see some showers continue overnight, sitting right at the freezing mark in Kapuskasing Hearst as well as in Wawa, sitting at 3 degrees over Manitoulin Island and 1 degree for Parry Sound. Now let's take a closer look at the next 7 days, beginning with Sudbury Nickel Belt. For tomorrow, cloud cover and starting your day off with a wind chill, sitting around -5 to start the day. We're going to start to see that temperature warm up to about 6 degrees, and that's going to continue into Sunday, but we will see the return of that sunshine, and it's going to be sticking around until at least the middle of the work week. Heading over to Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma now, nothing but sunshine for the next couple of days. Might see a little bit of cloud cover here and there. Certainly seeing great temperatures as well. sitting right around that seasonal mark. Normally this time of year sitting between 7 to 9 degrees. 11 degrees is your daytime high on Sunday, but as you can see, the temperature certainly dips down in those evening hours. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing could see 30% chance of sleet tomorrow. Again, that mixing of that rain and that snow. A high of 3 degrees anticipated, dipping down to -6 overnight on Saturday, -9 on Sunday. And again, that's not factoring in the wind chill. We are certainly starting to see those cooler temperatures. Sunshine, however, dominating the forecast from Sunday all the way through till Thursday. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, a similar weather story here as well. Seeing some sleet possible for your Saturday, a high of 3 degrees, bumping up to 6 on Sunday and Monday. Again, with that sunshine sticking around well into Thursday. And finally, North Bay, West Nipissing, the slight chance we could see some flurry activity. Again, it's not something that's going to stick on the ground. A high of 6 degrees. But as we head into those overnight hours, an overnight low of -4. So certainly, definitely bundle up if you're heading out this weekend. Sunshine makes its way into the forecast on Sunday and will be sticking around until at least the middle of the work week. That's a look at your 7-day forecast. Now let's head over to your photo of the day. Thank you so much to Alice for sending in this great shot just outside of Espanola at Lang Lake. Wow, look at those beautiful fall colors and the stillness of the water. Take a scan of your QR code at the bottom there. Make sure to send us a photo. That's a look at your 7-day forecast and photo of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break.
A young fan will be keeping his eye on the Blue Jays as they start the World Series, and the Jays are on his eye literally after 8-year-old Logan Dorna got a special prosthesis made. CTV's Pauline Chan explains.
A special package from Major League Baseball after they heard about 8-year-old Logan Dorna's special prosthetic eye.
We are so inspired by you. It must be so exciting for your Blue Jays to finally be back in the World Series.
Logan was diagnosed with retinoblastoma, a form of eye cancer, when he was 6 months old.
When he was about 2 weeks old, I started to see a strange glow in his left eye, and it would only be there whenever I was taking his photo or video using flash on my smartphone, and then I started to see it more often. It was approximately 6 weeks post-op that he received his custom-made prosthetic eye.
Since then, he's had several special designs.
The second one I got was Wreck-It Ralph because the movie just came out and I loved the movie. I did Mario for my third, Kirby for my fourth, and the Zelda Triforce for my fifth.
Then last month, the young Jays fan was due for a new prosthesis. Logan's special prosthesis was made about 3 weeks ago when the Jays found out they'd made it to the playoffs.
The prosthetics now are made from a heat-cured, medical-grade acrylic plastic.
Matthew Milne is Logan's ocularist.
He wanted a Blue Jays eye made to celebrate the Blue Jays making the World Series, so he specified that he wanted the Blue Jays logo, the stitching, and a golden iris to celebrate the occasion.
Logan says the gold is to remind him of the glow from his eye when his mom first spotted the tumor. And he says his favorite Jay is Max Scherzer.
Because he has 2 different colored eyes, brown and blue.
Logan has vowed to keep his prosthesis in place until the Jays win the World Series. He's hoping for 4 games, but 7 would be fine too, as long as they win. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A new French-language Catholic elementary school officially celebrated its opening in Sudbury today. École Catholique Notre Place held an inauguration ceremony and received a blessing from the bishop. The new building is home to just over 400 kindergarten to grade 8 students in the Val Thérèse area of the city. The school features a state-of-the-art STEAM lab, a wellness center, and reflective spaces in the library that honor First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. Despite uncertainty this year, Wordstock Sudbury Literary Festival is now underway. The 2-day event brings together lovers of words, authors, and poets. Organizers say this is a chance for readers and writers to meet authors, exchange ideas, and engage in conversations.
Yeah, well, we have so many brilliant writers and poets here in town, and who have the connections of their own, and with, again, the great work of our festival planning committee, who are a lot of them writers themselves, we were able to sort of, you know, bridge all these connections that are across the country and create our group of individuals who are joining us this weekend.
And the opening ceremony for Woodstock Sudbury is happening right now. The event wraps up tomorrow night at 7:30. The Sioux Symphony Orchestra will be playing in celebration tomorrow. The orchestra has a show planned for tomorrow night, but it will now feature a special guest from the Ontario Arts Council. The group will receive an orchestra award, which comes with a $5,000 check. The award is honoring the symphony's artistic and organizational achievements. The concert is tomorrow at 2 p.m. at the Machine Shop. In Owen Sound, an Indigenous chef is making global headlines. His unique ice cream creation is putting a small town shop on the world map. CTV's Rob Cooper has that story.
Zach Kiesig of Owen Sound is an Indigenous chef who owns and operates Nagan restaurant in the city's downtown. While his dinner here will be served locally, a recent ice cream recipe is making international headlines. He teamed up with Chapman's Ice Cream to win an international award for a new flavor that pays homage and respect to his heritage while curating the ingredients of Indigenous culture.
It's been a great opportunity for us to showcase Indigenous food and put Indigenous food on the map of Canada.
The two created a new flavor called Sweetgrass, maintaining Indigenous heritage.
We've been serving a version of the sweetgrass ice cream, in our restaurant on the tasting menu for quite some time, but I wanted to showcase it on this sort of a level to, introduce people to Indigenous culture.
Chapman's no stranger to different flavors of ice cream, as they have about 180 in total. Chapman says they approached Kiesig with the idea and knew it would do well internationally.
We said, let's give it a shot. Let's see if we can make this into like a real ice cream that we could kind of, market as a collaboration. So it worked.
And worked it did. International awards, international attention, and now big expectations to possibly keep it going.
We are always experimenting with different flavor profiles, but most of them don't make it in any way, shape, or form close to a grocery store. But this one was unique.
I'm hoping that it inspires other Indigenous people, to take a shot at putting their stuff out.
So what's next for the sweetgrass flavor? Chapman says if they can get it to a stable extract form, that may open the door for it to be available at your local supermarket. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Markdale.
Much needed gear still to come on CTV News at 6. Hockey This Week looks at a campaign that helps Indigenous hockey players.
Hockey This Week is brought to you by Rastall Nut and Bolt Company. Welcome back to Hockey This Week. We have a special guest in Graham McWaters from Richmond Hill. He's involved with the Indigenous Hockey Equipment Drive as the founder and chief coordinator. Graham, thanks for joining us tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay, you were in Sudbury recently, very successful from what we can see from the numerous pictures and the video. You're progressing really well after 10 or so years.
Yeah, we've been doing this now since 2014. And since inception, we've delivered over 6,000 hockey bags and over 10,000 sticks to 71 Indigenous communities across Canada.
Okay, so who's donating and where is the gear going to?
So the gear is donated by local hockey families. We travel all across Ontario to pick it up, mostly in the Greater Toronto area. So we'll do a hockey drive for 6 hours at a hockey rink with a hockey association or a hockey team. We gather the bags, we sort them, tag them, bag them, put them in our warehouse, and then about 3-4 times a year, we distribute the gear to Indigenous communities in Ontario. But over the last couple of years, we've expanded to the Northwest Territories, to Manitoba, and to Quebec.
That's quite the task. Where is the gear going here in Northeastern Ontario?
Well, we just made a trip up on the weekend to Sudbury, and we gave the gear to Sagamok, Wanapitei, and some people came in from Timmins so they could deliver it to Attawapiskat, Fort Albany, and we also have some people that are coming to Barrie in a couple weeks that missed Sudbury from Thessalon and from Wiki. So there's quite a few people from your neck of the woods up in Northern Ontario, Sudbury area. We've delivered to Whitefish before. We've delivered to Lil Current. So there's quite a few. Garden River. It's a lot of people in the north of Sudbury and the west of Sudbury get hockey gear from us every year.
Okay, so what's the response been from the recipients?
Wow, the response is overwhelming. We get comments that blew us away, that actually brought a tear to our eyes. We've had people say to us, not only are you changing lives, but you're saving lives. The one community up at Tagamu that was in this weekend, they drove for 5.5 hours, 6 hours to come and get the gear. They told us a couple of years ago that the suicide rate has been reduced in their community since the children have started playing hockey.
Hockey is a great game, and without people like you, Graham, at least leading the effort, really, it's a significant contribution to various communities, not only here in northeastern Ontario, but you're spreading west. Best of luck. Thank you for doing this. Please keep us posted about your future endeavors down the road, and if we can help here in northeastern Ontario in gathering gear, you know we'll be right behind that effort.
Thank you very much for having us. Take
Graham
care.
McWater is my guest, of course. He leads the Indigenous Hockey Equipment Drive. We're back with more hockey this week in 7 days.
In the NOJHL Thursday night, the Sudbury Cubs showing off special teams with 3 power play goals and 1 shorthanded. They take down the Blind River Beavers 6-1. Tonight, there are 3 games in the NOJHL. The Greater Sudbury Cubs are in Powassan tonight to face off against the Voodoos, while the French River Rapids head north to Kirkland Lake to take on the Gold Miners. And it's a battle on the border tonight as Michigan's Sioux Eagles take on the Sioux Thunderbirds. All 3 games are 7 o'clock starts. A relatively quiet night for Northern Ontario hockey fans last night in the OHL with just 1 game on the docket. Lots of back and forth between the Battalion and the Peterborough Petes. Bronson Ride with a big shot last night, tying up the game to send it into overtime. And Parker Vaughn scored the game-winning goal just minutes into overtime. North Bay wins 5-4 over the Petes. The Petes continue their northern tour in Sault Ste. Marie tonight, where they are taking on the Greyhounds. Petes lead 1-0 after 1. The Sudbury Wolves are playing host to the Barrie Colts. The Wolves scored 2 early goals, but are the points cursed? Nathan Villeneuve got an assist, then a penalty, followed by Kieran Walton scoring, only for him to end up in the box moments later. Barrie scored with the man advantage. It's 3-1 Sudbury at the end of the first. Sault Ste. Marie's premier curling event is now underway and is expected to draw plenty of eyes and dollars to the city. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more from the 3rd annual Henderson Medal Fall Classic.
The 3rd annual Henderson Medal Fall Classic is in full swing in Sault Ste. Marie. The event saw considerable growth last year, but changes to the international curling schedule brought on by the upcoming Olympics has limited the draw. Just 18 teams are on ice this year compared to 28 in the previous edition. It's having an impact on ticket sales for full event passes, but single draws are still selling.
We did anticipate a smaller crowd turnout this year because of the smaller field size, but we've actually had quite a few people just coming 1 draw at a time. So the crowds have been probably bigger than we expected, but smaller than last year.
Regardless of the down year, the Sioux Fall Classic has become a consistent boost to the city's sport tourism sector. Tourism officials say the event brings in roughly $175,000 new dollars to the city each year.
Last year, we had about 4,000 people attend the event, and over 40% of them were traveled from out of town. So there's a significant economic impact to our city.
It puts us on a national stage, which is wonderful. People can realize that Sault Ste. Marie is a destination for people to come, not only to visit for recreation, but to host sporting events. And we're really making an effort to try and become known as being a sports hub.
11 of the 18 teams came from out of the province for this year's event. Included is last year's runners-up from Switzerland, who who, among many things, enjoy the opportunity to see the nature that Canada has in abundance.
The event obviously was amazing. We like that there are people inside the rings or the ice. Also, of course, prize money, points is cool. And also the zoo with the lake and the river, we loved it.
Despite a smaller field, the Fall Classic still saw 4 of the top 10 teams in the world. The event runs until Sunday afternoon. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Stranger Things is headed to theaters, and Chris Hemsworth is stealing more than just the show tonight in David Daniels' Hollywood Report.
After what we've been through, this thing, it ties us together.
The Stranger Things finale on the big screen. Netflix is putting the final episode of the series in more than 350 theaters in the U.S. and Canada. It'll screen on December 31st at the same time it premieres on streaming, and again on January 1st. The first half of the 5th and final season of Stranger Things debuts November 26th.
After all these years, I can finally own an official authenticated piece of Jim Henson Company history.
That's right, Timmy. Bidding is now open for the Jim Henson Company's 70th anniversary auction. Select puppets, props, and memorabilia from Henson film and TV projects are on the block. The auction takes place November 25th. Check it out at juliannesauctions.com.
I'm real good at reading people.
And what have you read about me?
Okay. You look like a person who has secrets. You got the cars, the clothes, but you can't seem to look me in the eye.
Here's your first look at Chris Hemsworth as a high-stakes thief in Crime 101. Mark Ruffalo, Nick Nolte, and Halle Berry also star in the crime thriller, which opens in theaters February 13th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
An added fee for reclining seats on a flight. That's what analysts are saying about WestJet's plans to reconfigure 43 of its economy aircrafts. The airline says part of a cabin refresh will be removing reclining seats on 2 different Boeing model planes and replacing them with fixed seats that have a slight recline built in. While the airline says it will give passengers options at different price points, critics of the plan say this is just another way airlines are using a la carte options to charge more. The first reconfigured plane is set to take flight this month, with the other 42 aircraft ready early next year. It isn't the only airline looking at the bottom line. Layoffs are coming for Air Canada. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more on that.
Air Canada is cutting about 1% of its workforce. About 400 management jobs will be lost. The airline shared the news on the same day it announced it will start running direct flights to the U.S. from Toronto's Island Airport. Travelers will be able to fly directly to New York, Boston, Chicago, and Washington starting March of 2026. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar's up a fraction to 71.44. West Texas Intermediate crude is down to 61.50. Western Canadian Select is up close to $3 today to 48.99. And the TSX gained 166 points today, ending the week at 30,353. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up $6.95, closing the day at $41.1353 U.S. an ounce. Silver down 22 cents to end the day at $48.60. Copper up 4 cents, and nickel up a penny, ending the day at $6.85 U.S. a pound. And Lindsay is now back for one last look at your Saturday weather.
Thanks, Tony. It's going to be a cool day to start the day on your Saturday, and could see a little bit of unsettled conditions, but by the afternoon, looks like nothing but sunshine for the most part across the Northeast, sitting at 6 degrees in Sudbury with cloud cover for most of the day. Timmins seeing a mix of flurries and showers in the morning, a high of 3 degrees, all the way up to 9 degrees in Sault Ste. Marie, sitting right at that seasonal mark. Heading over to North Bay now, a slight chance for some flurry activity, a high of 6 degrees. And Parry Sound sitting at 8 degrees with partly sunny skies. And Temiskaming Shores, a slight chance of some sleet and a high of 3 degrees.
Thanks for that, Lindsay. And finally, the Toronto Blue Jays are in the World Series, and Game 1 is tonight at the Rogers Centre. So we leave you with the Toronto Symphony Orchestra and Queen's I Want It All. Thanks for watching. Have a good night and weekend.
What it's all about. He got it! Blue Jays win the pennant. The Blue Jays win the pennant. What a moment for this city. That was incredible. They're going to the World Series. We won it all! We need the energy every day. That joke's not finished. What it's all about. He got it! Blue Jays win the pennant. The Blue Jays win the pennant. What a moment for this city. That was incredible.